Hello and welcome to part 4 of our class problems for chapters 3 and 4. We're going to get right into it. I already have problem 13 built up a little bit for us to go over. Summary number 13, the following table represents the scores on the Mini-Mental State Examination, MMSE, for patients enrolled in a study at an Alzheimer's Disease Institute. So here we have patients A through G, which I've renumbered them 1 through 7, so our N is equal to 7. And I've arranged the data in ascending order from lowest to highest to help us find our IQR and 5-point summary. So this should be 19. So to find our 5-point summary, our Q0 is going to be our minimum value, which is 17, and our maximum value is 22, easy to find here. For our Q2, since n equals 7, we have an exact middle value, which is going to be 19. And our Q1, when we go off 2 key hinges here, is going to include the median, so it's going to be that data set, and then when you look at it, it's going to include this data set. So when you look at Q1, which can be considered the lower half here, and you find the middle value between 18 and 18, it's going to be 18. When we come up here, and the middle value between 21 and 22, it's going to be 21.5 as our Q3. So that's our 5-point summary to find our IQR. So our IQR is going to equal Q3 minus Q1, Q3 being 21.5 and Q1 being 18. We're going to find that our IQR is equal to 3.5. And then we just have to get the mean. So calculate IQR, 5-point summary, and the mean. So the mean is adding up all the data points that we have here, adding them all up. So our sum is going to equal 137, divide by the total number of data points in the set, 7, and then that's going to give you a value of 19.5714 as your x bar. So x bar equals 19.5714, your mean of the data set. So I kind of put all the information you need for A up here. Next part says calculate the variance and standard deviation for the data. So this is going to take a little bit of room. So what I'm going to do is put the standard deviation equation for you here by the problem, which standard deviation is equal to 1, or is equal to the square root of 1 over n minus 1 times the sum of x sub I minus x bar squared. And if you want to calculate the variance, so standard deviation is s, variance is s squared. S squared is just equal to 1 over n minus 1 times the sum of xi minus x bar squared. So now you take the variance and you take the square root, and that's how you get your standard deviation. So in order to figure all this out, we have our mean, which is 19.75, and we have to subtract that from all our data points. So we're going to take 21, 19, 18, 22, 17, 18, 22 again, and we subtract this from our x bar, which is 19.5714. And so you're going to do that for every one of these data points here. And remember, this is called the deviation. So when you subtract it from your x bar, you're finding out the deviation of that data point from the mean. Now, if you just take all these deviations and didn't take the square root of them, you would get a value of 0. But by squaring them, we get the sum of squares, and that's how we're able to determine the plus and minus value of our standard deviation, which then tells us the values surrounding it, that gives us an approximation of a normal distribution, which we use later on going forward. So when you take 21 minus 19.5714, you get 1.4286. Remember, we're then going to square this value and get 2.0409. And same thing, you're going to take your value of x and subtract it from your x bar. You get a value, you're going to square it, and then you're going to keep doing this all the way down. So as you can see, I'm just going to slowly fill in the rest of these values here. 6. Remember, squaring all these values, you get 5.8981. This one's a negative 2.5714 equals 6.6121, negative 1.5714 equals 2.4693, and 2.4286, 5.8981. So as you can see, also when you're doing standard deviation, just things to keep in mind to help you get through them a little quicker. You notice if you have value of 22 and 22, 18 and 18, right? All these values are exactly the same. So you don't have to actually do them twice on the calculator unless you want to double check your work, but they are the same. So if you know you have double values, you can, just kind of get through these a little bit quicker, just to help you out. Make sure you're squaring these. Once you square them, you're going to add them all up, and this gives you the sum of squares, remember? And it's going to give you 25.7143, and we're going to divide this by n minus 1, which n is 7 minus 1 equals 6. So we're going to divide this by 6, and you're going to get your variance. So at this point, it's your variance. Your s squared is going to equal 4.2857. And then if you take the square root of the variance and take the square root of that, s is going to equal, for your standard deviation, 2.0702. That is your standard deviation for this problem. So there we go. There's your 5-point summary, IQR mean, and how you solve for your variance and standard deviation. And then for this problem, I'm not going to do everything here. I'm just going to kind of give you the, instead of doing a whole video just on this, I'm going to give you just the nitty-gritty of information you need. So here we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be calculating your mean, median, standard deviation for the grade point averages here. So your x bar is going to equal 3.8257. Your sum of your grade point averages is going to equal 26.78. N equals 7. Your standard deviation is going to equal 0.1159. And your median is equal to 3.84. Now, I'm going to let you go ahead and check your work on that one. If you're still coming up with a different answer, that's when you can reach out to me and we can see where a potential issue is. But you can definitely go back to the other couple problems with standard deviation and figure out maybe where you made your mistake. All right, that's going to conclude it for this video. And again, if you have any questions, always reach out.